Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Nova English Talks. I'm so happy that you're here today because we're about to begin something special together. Today is not just another English lesson. Today is the beginning of a 14-day English challenge, and I truly hope you will become a part of it. For the next 2 weeks, I will upload one brand new podcast episode every single day. Each episode will be published at the same time so you can easily make it part of your daily routine. Every lesson will be around 12 to 15 minutes long, making it short enough to fit into even the busiest schedule. The goal of this challenge is not to make you study harder. Instead, it is to help you study smarter and more consistently. Your mission is very simple. Listen to each podcast carefully. Repeat the sentences after me. Practice speaking out loud, even if your pronunciation is not perfect. Learn a few new words and useful expressions every day. And most importantly, keep coming back for the next episode. That is all you need to do. You do not have to spend 3 or 4 hours studying grammar books. You do not have to understand every single word you hear. You do not have to worry about making mistakes. All you need is a positive attitude, a little patience, and about 12 minutes of your day. Small daily practice is much more powerful than studying for several hours, only once a week. Before we continue, I want to ask you for one small favor. If you're ready to accept this challenge, go to the comment section and write, "Yes, I'm in." It may look like a simple sentence, but it means much more than that. When you type those words, you are making a promise, not to me, but to yourself. You are saying, for the next 14 days, I will make time for my English. I will keep learning, keep practicing, and keep improving, one day at a time. That commitment is the first step toward real progress. So take a moment, write, "Yes, I'm in," and let's begin this exciting journey together. Now, before we start our first lesson, there is one very important thing I want you to do. Choose a specific time each day for your English practice. Maybe you enjoy learning in the morning while drinking your coffee. Maybe your lunch break gives you a few quiet minutes. Perhaps you like listening while driving to work, taking the bus, walking in the park, exercising, cooking dinner, or relaxing before going to bed. The exact time does not matter. What matters is consistency. Listening at the same time every day helps your brain build a habit. After a few days, your mind will naturally expect your English practice, just like brushing your teeth or checking your phone in the morning. One of the easiest ways to create a lasting habit is to connect it with something you already do every day. For example, you could tell yourself, "After I finish breakfast, I will listen to today's English podcast." Or, "Every evening before bed, I'll spend 12 minutes practicing English." The more regular your routine becomes, the easier it will be to continue. Choose a time that fits your lifestyle. Don't choose a time when you're usually busy, stressed, or exhausted. Instead, find a moment when you can relax, focus, and enjoy learning without feeling rushed. Another helpful idea is to set a reminder on your phone. Give your alarm a motivating name, like Time for English, Daily English Challenge, or simply 12 minutes that change my future. When your alarm goes off, don't tell yourself, "I'll do it later," because later often turns into tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. And before you know it, another month has passed without any practice. Instead, press play immediately. 12 minutes is a very small investment, but if you repeat it every day, the results become surprisingly powerful. I intentionally made each episode short because I want you to feel excited to start and confident that you can finish. Many people see a 1-hour lesson and immediately think, "I don't have enough time today." But 12 minutes feels different. 12 minutes feels possible. 12 minutes is shorter than most coffee breaks. It is shorter than a TV episode. It is shorter than the time many people spend scrolling through social media without even realizing it. If you can spend 12 minutes watching random videos online, you can absolutely spend 12 minutes building a better future for yourself. You don't need to completely change your daily life. You only need to protect 12 minutes. Those 12 minutes belong to your dreams, your confidence, and your future English skills. Now, you might be wondering, can just 14 days really make a difference? That is a great question. The honest answer is this: no, 14 days will not make you perfectly fluent. You won't suddenly understand every movie without subtitles. You won't instantly understand every native speaker. You won't magically remember thousands of new vocabulary words overnight. Language learning simply doesn't work that way. But these 14 days can give you something much more valuable. They can help you build momentum. They can help you create a learning habit. They can prove to yourself that you are capable of showing up every single day. And once you build that habit, learning English becomes much easier. Confidence grows little by little. Your vocabulary slowly expands. Your listening improves. Speaking becomes more natural. And one day you'll realize that conversations which once seemed impossible now feel comfortable. Every fluent English speaker started exactly where you are today. They didn't become fluent in 1 week or 1 month. They became fluent because they kept showing up, practicing, making mistakes, and refusing to quit. So don't focus on becoming perfect. Focus on becoming better than yesterday. One small improvement every day is enough. By the end of this challenge, you may be surprised by how much more confident you feel. So, are you ready? Take this challenge seriously. Believe in yourself. Stay consistent. Practice every day. And remember, I will be here with you throughout the next 14 days, encouraging you every step of the way. Let's begin this journey together. Welcome to the 14-Day English Challenge, and let's make these next 2 weeks the beginning of something amazing. These next 14 days can help you build one of the most important habits for learning any language: consistency. But what does consistency actually mean? Consistency means doing something regularly, day after day, even when you don't feel excited, motivated, or full of energy. Some days you'll feel enthusiastic about learning English. Other days, you may feel tired after work, busy with family, or simply not in the mood. That is completely normal. The secret is not to practice only when you feel motivated. The secret is to practice even on the days when motivation is low. Many English learners make the same mistake. They wait until they feel ready. They tell themselves, "I'll study tomorrow when I have more energy." Or, "I'll start next Monday." Or, "I'll learn when I have more free time." The problem is that tomorrow often becomes next week, and next week becomes next month. As a result, they never build a regular learning habit. Some people study for 3 or 4 hours on a Sunday afternoon. They learn 20 or 30 new vocabulary words. They complete several grammar exercises. But then they don't practice again for the next 5 or 6 days. By the time they return to English, they have already forgotten much of what they learned. This cycle repeats over and over again. Study a lot. Stop completely. Forget. Start again. That can feel frustrating. Real progress usually doesn't come from studying for long hours once in a while. Real progress comes from doing small, meaningful actions every single day. That is why this challenge is built around short daily lessons. Just 12 minutes, 12 focused minutes every day can often be much more effective than studying for 2 or 3 hours only once a month. Why? Because your brain learns through repetition. Your brain loves seeing and hearing the same patterns again and again. Every time you hear a familiar sentence, your brain becomes a little more comfortable with it. Every time you repeat a useful phrase, it becomes easier to remember. Every time you listen to English, you strengthen the connections inside your brain. Little by little, English begins to feel more natural. During this challenge, you'll hear English every single day. You'll hear everyday conversations. You'll hear useful expressions that native speakers often use. You'll learn practical vocabulary that you can actually use in real life. Some words and phrases will be completely new. Others may already sound familiar. Now, let's talk about the word familiar. If something is familiar, it means you've seen it, heard it, or experienced it before. Maybe you've heard a phrase many times while watching movies or listening to podcasts. When you hear a familiar phrase again, don't immediately think, "I already know this." Instead, ask yourself a different question. Can I actually use this naturally in my own conversations? That is a much more important question. There is a big difference between recognizing English and using English. Many learners understand hundreds of expressions when they hear them. But when it's time to speak, those same expressions suddenly disappear. For example, Maybe you already know the phrase, "That sounds good." When someone says it, you understand the meaning immediately. But imagine a friend says, "Let's grab coffee tomorrow afternoon." Or, "Why don't we watch a movie this weekend?" Can you quickly and naturally reply, "That sounds good," without stopping to translate, without thinking for several seconds? If the answer is no, don't worry. That simply means you need more practice using the phrase, not just recognizing it. That is exactly what this challenge is designed to help you do. This challenge is not only about understanding English. It is about making useful English easier to remember, easier to pronounce, and easier to use in real conversations. And that's why repetition is so important. Whenever you hear a useful sentence, don't just listen. Repeat it. Repeat it aloud. Don't only repeat it silently inside your mind. Use your voice, move your mouth, train your pronunciation. Let's practice together. Listen carefully. I'm trying to build a better habit. Now you say it. I'm trying to build a better habit. Excellent. Let's try another one. I'm going to practice every day. Now repeat after me. I'm going to practice every day. Great job. Speaking out loud may feel a little strange at first, but it is one of the fastest ways to improve your speaking ability. When you speak aloud, your mouth becomes familiar with English sounds. Your tongue learns how to move naturally, your ears become better at recognizing pronunciation, and your brain begins to remember complete sentences instead of individual words. Over time, speaking becomes smoother, faster, and much more confident. So during these 14 days, don't worry if your pronunciation isn't perfect. Nobody speaks perfectly on the first day. Perfection is not our goal. Practice is our goal. Every sentence you repeat is another step forward. In fact, I hope you make mistakes. Yes, you heard me correctly. I want you to make mistakes. Because mistakes mean you're trying. Mistakes mean you're speaking instead of staying silent. Every fluent English speaker has made thousands of mistakes while learning. The people who improve the fastest are usually the ones who aren't afraid to make them. So don't wait until you're 100% sure before speaking. Use the language. Experiment with new words. Try new expressions. Practice even if you aren't completely confident. Confidence grows through action, not before action. As you listen to each daily podcast, pay attention to useful words and expressions. You don't need to write down every single sentence you hear. That would probably be overwhelming. Instead, choose just 3, 4, or 5 useful phrases from each episode. Write them in a notebook or on your phone. Read them several times during the day. Try saying them aloud, and whenever possible, use them in your own sentences. If you keep doing that every day for the next 14 days, you'll be surprised by how many useful expressions become a natural part of your English. For example, from today's episode, you don't need to remember every sentence you heard. Instead, choose just a few useful expressions that you think you can actually use in your daily life. Even 3 to 5 new phrases each day can make a big difference over time. From today's lesson, you might choose these expressions: to build a habit, to make time for something, to stay consistent, to keep going, to fit something into your day. Now, let's take a closer look at each one and see how you can use them naturally. The first expression is to build a habit. To build a habit means to develop a regular routine by doing the same action again and again until it becomes a natural part of your life. For example, you could say, "I'm trying to build a habit of reading in English every evening." Or, "This challenge will help me build a habit of practicing English every day." Now ask yourself, can I use this expression in my own life? If the answer is yes, then you've already started learning it. The next expression is to make time for something. This means finding time for an activity, even when your schedule is busy. We all have busy days. Work, school, family, and many other responsibilities can fill our schedules. But when something is important to us, we usually find a way to make time for it. For example, you could say, "I'm very busy, but I always make time for English." Or, "I make time to read one English article every morning." Notice that this expression is very common in everyday English. Native speakers use it all the time. Now, let's move to the third phrase. To stay consistent. This means continuing to do something regularly without giving up. Consistency is one of the biggest secrets to success, not only in learning English, but in almost every area of life. You could say, the most important thing is to stay consistent. Or, even if I only practice for 10 minutes, I want to stay consistent. Remember, being consistent is much more important than being perfect. Now, let's learn another useful expression. To keep going. This simply means to continue and not stop, even when something feels difficult. Everyone experiences difficult moments while learning a language. Sometimes you'll understand everything. Other times you'll feel confused. That is completely normal. The important thing is to keep going. For example, this grammar lesson is difficult, but I'm going to keep going. Or, I made a few mistakes today, but I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. That attitude will help you improve much faster. The last expression is to fit something into your day. This means finding a suitable time for an activity within your daily schedule. Many people think they don't have enough time to study English, but often they don't need more time. They simply need to use the small moments they already have. You could say, I can fit a short English lesson into my lunch break, or I usually fit my English practice into my evening routine. Even a short lesson can have a big impact when you practice regularly. Now, here's something I'd like you to do after this episode. Choose your favorite 3 or 4 expressions from today's lesson. Write them in a notebook or save them on your phone. Then create your own sentences using each one. The more personal your examples are, the easier they'll be to remember. Reading is good. Listening is good. But creating your own sentences is even better. That is when English begins to become part of your everyday life. Now, I'd like to talk about something that will probably happen during this challenge. At some point over the next 14 days, you may wake up and simply not feel like practicing. Maybe you'll be tired after a long day. Maybe you'll have a lot of work to finish. Maybe you'll have family responsibilities. Or maybe you'll look at today's lesson and think, I'll skip today and do 2 lessons tomorrow. If that happens, remember this. That is exactly the moment when this challenge becomes most valuable. Anyone can practice on the easy days. It's easy to study when you're excited. It's easy to practice when you have lots of free time. It's easy to learn when you feel motivated. But real habits are built on the difficult days. A habit becomes stronger every time you choose to continue, even when you don't feel like it. Imagine 2 different learners. The first learner studies only when they feel motivated. The second learner studies for just 12 minutes every day, even when they're a little tired. After several months, who do you think will make more progress? Usually, it's the second person. Not because they're smarter, not because they have more talent, but because they kept showing up. That's the power of consistency. So, if you have one of those difficult days, simply tell yourself, I'm tired, but I can still do 12 minutes. I'm busy, but I can still listen while I walk. I don't feel motivated today, but I'm going to keep my promise to myself. Those small decisions create big results over time. Of course, this doesn't mean you should ignore your health. If you're sick, exhausted, or truly need to rest, then take care of yourself. Rest is important too. The point is simply not to let a small feeling of laziness become an excuse for giving up. Remember, motivation comes and goes. Habits stay with you, and that's exactly what we're building together. Well, today is day 1 of our 14-day English challenge. Congratulations! You've already taken the first and most important step. Starting is often the hardest part of any new journey, but you did it. Now, let's keep moving forward together. If you haven't done it yet, go to the comment section and write, "Yes, I'm in." That simple sentence is your commitment to yourself. Next, choose the best time each day to listen to these episodes. Set a reminder on your phone. When the reminder appears tomorrow, don't ignore it. Press play, listen carefully, repeat the sentences aloud, and enjoy the process of becoming a more confident English speaker. Then come back tomorrow at the same time for day 2 of our challenge. Remember, 12 minutes may seem like a very small part of your day, but small actions, repeated every single day, create meaningful and lasting change. One lesson, one day, one step at a time. Keep listening, keep repeating, keep believing in yourself, and most importantly, keep learning. I'm Nova, and this is Nova English Talks. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm proud that you've chosen to be part of this challenge, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Take care, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2.